and
Don't.
we are waiting for all of the platforms to come up.
Hey, Google, set a timer for 12:20.
Okay, 12:20 a.m. It's for 19 minutes and 21 seconds.
My
And
guess
that's starting
is
now.
hello, Twitch. Twitch is awake. Good morning, Twitch. How about
Twitch.
YouTube? YouTube is wide awake. Hello, YouTube. Of course,
YouTube, are we?
right now I'm the only
Are we
one
live?
watching. We are we live? Yeah, I think we
I
are.
think we're live.
Well
Are
then,
we live?
let's say hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. What's up? We've got 3 people watching already, and I know that I'm one of them on Twitter and on Twitch, and one of them on YouTube. So we know we'll have at least 2 people watching the whole time tonight. So that's pretty cool. We're also live on Facebook. We're live on Odyssey. We are live on Twitter. So we're everywhere that you want to be, that you're watching, and yet there's nobody else here. Well, it is midnight.
Here.
It is
It's midnight.
and we're here, and that's all that really matters, right? In the end, it's all about whether we're here covering the stories, right? Kidding.
Yep.
So I wanted to, of course, we have to go through all like the particulars and the usuals, which is welcome everybody to How Did We Miss That? How Did We Miss That? Yep. How Did We Miss That is a show. Oh, Jared and Darlene, welcome. Hi, Art. You are not invisible. Yay. Okay. It's not showing up live yet. I guess my restream integrated chat is a little off. Let's wait for a couple of people to come in before we actually
start up.
do the whole thing. But I started to jump into it, but of course, now we've got everybody jumping into chat. The stream alerts went out, hopefully to Twitter. I know that we sent out a Substack alert to everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming tonight. Got a lot of really cool stories that, let me guess, how did we miss all of that? It's really pretty crazy. There are so many stories that come at us on a weekly basis that it's impossible to absorb it all. So Reef,
impossible.
Talk a little bit about your week. What have you been up to so far this week?
Oh, got some e-bikes for Pops. Did that. Put them together. All that stuff. It was his birthday this week, so we did that. Other than that, not much. Got stuff ready for my show. Did some After Effects work. Got some stuff started with that.
Beautiful.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got the smoke in the camera. You can see that now. That's nice.
Yes, his house is not on fire, everybody. That is an effect.
That's
so don't worry.
Don't freak out at the image you see at your TV screen.
Don't freak out. That's a new subscriber. Thank you for subscribing. Invalid. Oh, we got rated. Oh, yay. Nikki rated us. Did Nikki rate us? Yay.
I should pull it up on Twitch as well.
Yeah, I've got us up on Twitch. A rated me with a party of 12. Thank you, A. Thank you, everybody who's coming in from Twitch. Welcome. We're just getting started. This is Indy. I'm on the left. I'm the bird, and then you've got Reef. You don't have your nameplate up, Reef, so that everybody knows where you are and
I can do that.
How to find you on Twitch. Oh wow, look at this. We're getting a bunch. Ramsey, welcome. Ramsey's good peeps. Ramsey's from the Hinkle family. Toku, how are you? Welcome. Thank everybody for coming in. Awesome. All right. So, we're banging in my ear all over the place. I love it. We're getting rated from Nikki. Hi, Radical Leftist Agenda. Thank you. Well, actually, so let's get to it for a second. Welcome, everybody, to How Did We Miss That? How Did We Miss That is a show going through a few stories we haven't seen covered anywhere else in leftist media. Co-hosted with this guy, Reef Breland from the Door Discord.
Howdy.
All the stories were featured in our Substack, Leftist Today, and at the top of Independent Left.News this week. So we wanted to give a shout out to the patrons and Ko-fi supporters of the channel and of the network and of this project. And a couple of them are actually here tonight. We've got Jared in chat. Thank you, Jared. Eric, I'm sure will be here soon if he's not already. Hi, Valerie. Welcome. We've also got Richard. Richard has been our longest supporter, and he never shows up at the streams, but we really appreciate him. He's a patron supporter. And we had 2 new Patreon supporters this week, which was really exciting. And it happened all quickly. So Radical Leftist Agenda, welcome to the Independent Left News supporter family. And Les Bones, welcome. Oh, see, there's Eric Thomas. We've got the loyals and the family. And of course, we wouldn't be able to exist without all the volunteers that help. Specifically Nicole, and thank you, Nicole. I don't know if Nicole's going to make it tonight, but I sent it over to her, the link. And Darlene, who is here, thank you, Darlene. Darlene posts all the links into Facebook every day, twice a day. And a special shout out to our buddy Mad Maz. He did some really nice clipping this week. KRTD asked a couple of people what they thought of Independent Left News, and Fiorella and Misty had some really nice things to say about us, and it was Maz that did the favor and was really nice to go in and clip that out for us and send that over and give us the file. So thank you, Maz. We've been talking with him a lot this week, and good peeps hanging out in Discord. Good deal. Again, wanted to remind everybody the podcast is back, and it's an audio version of this show essentially. So if you miss it, or if you want to direct anybody to it and they don't want to actually watch it on YouTube, you can always head over to anchor.fm/independent left news and to subscribe, or find us on Spotify. We have that on Spotify. So we have got a whole slew of stories featured in Independent Left News and in Leftist Today. So I start every show just by showing everyone what the current Leftist Today and Independent Left News look like. So these are the most recent editions that were published. We publish twice a day. Tonight, actually, I haven't refreshed because tonight, you know what? While I'm here, I need to go into YouTube Studio because the embed does not work. And it turns off once we go live for whatever reason. So let me go and fix that right now while we're talking, so that when I go to the Substack, it actually shows in there. Hang on. Allow embedding. See, they unchecked the damn box. Why do they do that to me? YouTube.
It's
YouTube
not
makes me
420
crazy.
yet.
It's not yet, but we will. Okay, so now watch this. Watch this. For the first time ever, I'm going to go live to our Substack with it actually embedded and not a gray box saying that it can't be embedded. Yay!
Nice.
Check that
Proud
out.
of you.
Thank you so much.
Technology.
And we of
Have you
course
ever seen that video? It's one of
Yes.
my favorites.
Uh,
Where the guy's like, "Why are people scared of technology?" And then it cuts to him on the street with a big sign, just like yelling at someone who's not ready for it. Technology. Like just like freaking them out.
so
I love that video.
So this is actually a link to tonight's stream on our Substack, leftist.today. You can see titled what we're up to.
You've got all the articles in there, right?
Really cool. I'm gonna put the articles in afterwards, but of course
After.
I don't want to give everyone links and bury the lead.
Like spoil them.
Yeah, exactly. And plus they're all in there anyway. But we'll do that.
You probably could add a Substack to this, another like article in here.
Probably,
Yeah.
But I just wanted to call attention to our link tree. That is a really cool tool, and it's for free. Anybody can set one up. And this is all of our links. So actually, you can go to the show, and this is a link to this current show on YouTube.
And they're all, if you look down there in the doobly-doo, our link tree is probably in the description on both Twitch and YouTube's.
Yep, over there somewhere.
Head down there.
All right.
Especially
and then,
scroll down to the bottom of that Patreon and Cash App. Super useful.
Yeah, there is a Patreon and a Cash App. That we do have ways to hook us up. Coffee. I do drink a lot of coffee.
All of your Putin checks. We will take Putin checks by the bucket load. Thank you very much.
No, we just want everybody to come hang out. Honestly, your patronage is really enough for us. and subscribing to the newsletter and subscribing to the website, which is a fire hose, and joining the Discord server, which is even more of a fire hose. This is tonight's
Yep.
edition. This was completely automated by the bot. I did not edit or manipulate or adjust this. This is just what was pulled in. Our friends over at the Mountain wrote a story about how Johnson & Johnson, 38,000 women out of court settlements,
Yep.
how they filed bankruptcy. Pretty crazy. Which one do we prefer? Well, so if you don't want a huge fire hose of content, you start with the Leftist Today, because that's going to give you like a bite-sized summary of the top stories every day. All right. Then if you want to kind of move up from there and you say, you know what, I need a ton of stories and I want to see everything that's out there and all the different sources that Independent Left News grabs, that's where you go to Independent Left News, and you've got a lot more content than you see at leftist.today. Well, there's usually 5 or 6 articles and 5 or 6 videos in each edition. Here, there could be like 75 articles and 75 videos per edition. All right. And then the Discord is just where everybody kind of hangs out afterwards, and that's a good time. And that's 24/7, and that's engaged with a community of people that are all fans of all the streamers, and each streamer and each outlet has their own channel that automates all of their content into that channel dedicated. And it's an interesting different way to consume news, all in one centralized place that didn't really exist before. So really, really cool stuff. Again, I wanted to thank you for looking at the link tree and all the Patreon subscriptions, all the donations. Everything you guys do is just amazing. I've seen the Substack growing tremendously. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but just the growth in the subscriber count and everything. Just appreciate everybody doing that. And we've got some other big things that are on the horizon, and we're going to be making some announcements in the next couple of weeks. And stay tuned for all of that. Did want to get started for tonight's stories, because we do have a bunch. And let's go back to the thumbnail for 1 second for our buddy over here. Switch the windows.
And now for something completely different.
And our first story and our first theme is called "What the F is Going On at U.S. Universities?" Now this one caught me from, I think it was the Corporate Crime Reporter, which is a website that Russ from Ralph Nader's organization had started. And
right.
Whoa.
Ooh.
That's a little too
I fix it. There it goes.
So what this article is talking about is this guy. So this is a really good website, Republic Report. Again, reporting on corruption. I'm always looking to follow the money. Shuttered for-profit college was run by an industry perennial. So it's looking at this guy, okay, Brad Odell. That's one of them, but this guy's another one, and his name is Jim Tolbert. All right.
Okay.
And he's connected to all these other guys. And basically what's happening here is that they are in this for-profit college ring, essentially, that they disavow the dead school as a wayward abuser, but essentially it's the same people that keep popping up that are bilking students and would-be students and want, students who are looking for a degree and to better themselves in life, and they're essentially stealing their money, stealing the government's money that's giving them grants and giving them some kind of subsidy in order to fund these students, including military and GI Bill students. It's really gross. I mean, some of these people, they put thousands of, I believe Trump University was one of these, but I don't know if these people were ever connected to Trump University. But what they are saying is that Vista College, which was based in Texas, offered programs in medical assistance, IT, cosmetology, business, and other fields. Okay, and it illustrates how for-profit college executives, mostly a group of white men presiding over schools that deceive, overcharge, and undereducate women of color and other struggling Americans, recycle themselves over and over. Very gross. So they specifically talk about this guy, Jim Tolbert, all right, and he's Vista College. He's the CEO. which is Education Futures Group. And they've been owned by Prospect Partners. And Prospect has an all-white male team with a female officer providing diversity. Right?
Oh, nice.
Right. He formed the college chain that became Vista with Prospect Partners in 05-06. And now look at that. The Prospect Partners page boasting of their investment in Vista now disappeared, but it's still featured on the Education Futures Group homepage. So they haven't cleaned up their full mess yet. All right. This whole thing just grossed me out. And I said, there's no way. I haven't seen anybody talking about for-profit colleges in quite a while.
Yeah.
Really since the Obama administration. And I think that
I wonder
it's
how
something
predatory XP College and like Windows 95 College are doing, because apparently Vista College, pretty terrible.
wow.
Yeah.
iOS College is
that's an
definitely
IT joke right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
iOS College should be doing a little better probably, but yeah, here we go. Office management. Its programs in medical assisting and office management flunked the Obama administration's gainful employment rule, which, before it was canceled by Betsy DeVos, aimed to weed out programs that buried students in debt. And such performance failures were apparently not how they measured itself, and in a profile they described themselves, of course, as wildly successful. So yeah, he is a man of the for-profit college industry, and here's the serial bilking that you see. So he scaled the heights of their central lobbying group, serving as the chairman of the Career College Association, which is now called Career Education Colleges and Universities, CECU. And again, this is the ITT text, and they talk about here. He was previously CFO and an investor in another chain, Virginia College, which also went belly up. He left Virginia College soon after its recapitalization, in which 80% of the company was acquired by another private equity firm. And that's when they started to build the operation that turned into Vista together. Wow.
Yeah.
They found a bit of a grift. All right. So in 2018, they suddenly shut down 70 campuses across the country. How about that? Including Virginia and Brightwood. Okay, and like previously shuttered chains like Corinthian and ITT Tech, financial problems, poor student outcomes, troubles with accreditation, and problems with law enforcement. Problems all over. Okay, so again, it's just, yeah. So before joining Virginia College, he, according to his bio, was founder and CEO of Career College Loan Company. So this guy has spent an entire lifetime, and guess where he worked? McKinsey, Disney, and Morgan Stanley.
That makes so much sense.
So this guy was a corporate hack who then realized that he could rip off the poor for the rest of his life and make millions off the government and the poor and the military. So rather than attending a for-profit college, he himself got a BA in economics from Wharton and an MBA from University of Chicago. So not like he really believes in the private the for-profit college industry himself when it comes to his own schooling. A little hypocritical, right? So, but when Vista shut down, this is the worst. It informed them, veterans, single moms, by email. This guy got a message while at the movies celebrating finishing his course. And then the phone lines automatically disconnected. It's not easy trying to find another school. Okay? They were seeing significant decreases in their school population. It was the excuse. And so for the best interest, we decided to suspend enrollment. And are they returning everybody's money? Yeah, I would tend to say no, because, again, she told the same TV station she had more than $23,000 in student loans for a medical assist program.
Craziness.
These people need to be prosecuted. These people need to be put in jail. But of course, they have money, and they'll buy off the right people, and they will. You know what? I think this is the perfect time for a super high knee right here.
Hey Google, stop. Sorry for everyone's Googles at home.
So
Uh,
for everyone who doesn't know,
and
so Reef stands for reefer, and that
yep,
seriously is what he's named for.
uh, my parents grew up in the 70s. What do you want from me?
That's pretty awesome.
Uh,
I'm jealous.
but yep. So for 420 somewhere
It
was
is
that
420
was that
somewhere.
alarm?
I believe it's Lisbon,
So
Portugal. That's my favorite place on
if I
earth.
just hit this button, we get bong cam.
Pew. All right, so I think we're just about done with this story. Oh wait, I didn't switch so that they could actually see your bond cam. Sorry.
I think they saw it.
Yeah, they
I
saw
think
it
it was
over there.
probably there somewhere.
And I'm covering up your
No,
nameplate. I just noticed. So let me
you can always
fix
bring mini bong cam in the bottom.
We can. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's right. I can do a second screen cap. And let me turn off the links because that's kind of distracting. Let me move Reef down a little bit.
Oh man.
There he is. Click on that. Let's bring him down to right there. Aha. And I'm cutting off your screen. There we go. Now we're good. Nice, nice. Okay. So now you got the double cam. Nice. There you go, Reef.
Yep. I'm getting another arm for my bong cam too. This one's terrible and janky.
Is it? Well,
So,
janky
yeah.
would be terrible.
Yeah. So I got one of those fancy ones. Remember the ones you were looking at the other day that was like, oh, that's a
Oh,
really
those
nice
those
that's
were
a really nice
sweet.
mic arm.
Those were
I was
really
like, yeah, they
sweet.
are.
Yeah, it was like
They're expensive.
that's $100 mic arm. Yeah, it was. So
Yeah.
again, it says
Yep.
if passes prologue, Jim Tolbert may be back running a for-profit college soon, just as longtime industry executives like, and they name them up, keep popping up to run new for-profit colleges. Okay, somehow they can't stop them. I don't know how. Get them in jail. The money is way too good, and the con is way too easy.
Yep.
Share this article. Subscribe to Republic Report. That's the name of the publication that is putting this out.
What was that movie with Louis Black?
College.
Them making a college.
It was
That was
called
it.
no, it was called Accepted. That's
That
one
was
of my
it.
favorites. I love that movie. There's a
Yeah.
lot of really funny movies. Like it's the greatest flavor that you've ever. It's every great flavor combined together. Okay, Reef is taking another rip while we're switching and transitioning screens, but he doesn't see that. So now we'll go back and we will go to main screen. And we'll continue our theme of what the F is going on in American universities.
I recognize this university.
Again, thank goodness for our friends over at Fred Hampton Leftist and for Affini. And this was from Jamal Rich, who was writing for Black Agenda Report. Amazing publication. South Harmon Institute of Technology. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I had the Swanee Hamilton Institute of Technology. That was near me. That was where I.
Well, we always called it the
like,
Sam Houston Institute
yeah,
of Technology.
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
like they were actually going to name it that, and everyone was like, "You sure about that?" And so they changed it.
So this is the story. I think we talked a little bit about this last week. What these activist students are doing is they're sitting in on one of the halls, and they've taken it over for a better part of a week at this point, and they are reinstatement of so they're looking for trustee positions. It's not just about the living conditions, which are horrifying alone, but then we also have what's going on with the board, and they're trying to silence the student voices and the faculty voices within the board of trustees. So you've got some protesting happening here, and you've got a takeover of one of the buildings. And what did they do in response? They shut down the student financial aid office, which was in a whole other building. It's called the Blackburn takeover. So for about a week, students at Howard have been protesting horrible living conditions inside some of the dorms on campus. So
mold and all sorts of gross nonsense.
So there have been all kinds of tweets. This was NewsOne covered this. And again, I'm going to put all the links in the chat after, or in the description after the stream is over, so you'll be able to see all of them.
Look at that. Look at
But
that nonsense.
they're asking us to relocate from our dorm, even though it's flooding. And I already slipped and fell today. You can see that there's water, active water dripping in there. That's gross. Okay.
Oh, and the insulation you can tell is just matted and wet.
And here's mold
that's
photos.
Bad. Yeah.
Okay, again.
That's like actual fungus. Like actual culture.
Search hashtag Blackburn Takeover on Twitter and you'll be able to see this. This is another one.
Yeah.
Fox, the local Fox affiliate caught some of the mice that were eating their, I think that's a cork board.
Yeah,
some of the
that's
mold
like
problems that were at. Yeah, here's a mold covered.
It's like a picture frame. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, and so they're asking for support again. They were camped out and taking over the building. Always dangerous to open up Twitter. Never know what's gonna pop up.
Make sure those messages are closed.
Well, suits are good. Yeah, it automatically opens up open, and I don't like that.
I know.
I really
There's
don't.
probably a way to change that. They look at stream on Twitter. That's what they need. You know?
So you've got
for Twitter.
Students camping out, students forming lines of solidarity. I believe
so
Afeni was in the building at one point.
Yeah.
And providing support. And they were collecting funds also. Students sleeping during the inhumane protest. And then they were, again, during Parents' Weekend, and it was Parents' Weekend at Howard this weekend, you had students camped out in tents. Look at this. Students protesting throughout the night.
Good.
No housing crisis, but we have mold growing everywhere.
Okay, lay it on its face.
Oh my god.
Holy!
Oh my fucking god! What?
They're flipping out. Oh my fucking god.
Yeah, it's like...
It's everywhere.
Geez.
It's really bad. Okay, so again, this NewsOne article really has a good summary of the tweets. Oh, and look who it is.
By the way, people, hemp insulation can help you deal with moisture. Just saying.
Unreal.
Yep.
Unreal. Stand in solidarity with the students. And somebody said there's multi-million-dollar grants from the wealthiest of the wealthy. What are they doing? How are they not taking care of their kids? And that they're living in these moldy conditions and they're going to have respiratory issues and all. Again, rats and roaches in the cafe, students without housing, mold in the limited housing available. This is disgraceful. And this needs to have attention called.
Can we send them marshmallows? For like their big
more
tents?
Light shown on it. Yeah,
for sure.
It's really, really bad. So just wanted everybody to be aware that this was happening and appreciate anybody sharing and letting people know about what's happening here and that these students are not ignored and that they're not alone.
There was a mutual aid fund, right? I think people posted that.
There was some kind of a fund for them. And again, if you search hashtag Blackburn Takeover or search hashtag Howard U, you'll find a lot of stuff having to do with these protests. Again, this was on the 14th, so this was 10 days ago. Everybody camped out. Here, hashtag Cash App the Live movement will give direct support to protesters, such as with supplies. Cash App $ Housing Students 1867 raises money for students struggling with off-campus homeless students living paycheck to paycheck, etc. That's really helpful. So again, just terrible. And these are like, it costs a ton of money to attend Howard. I don't know what the annual tuition for Howard is, but I think it's north of $30,000 a semester.
remember Berkeley was trying to get me to go, and just the housing cost alone was like, it was way more than tuition was, and it was ridiculous. Tuition was already crazy, like.
Colin gets modded.
It's
Welcome, Colin. Toku's gonna get modded. Everybody's popping in now on Twitch. Good stuff. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our next. So that was our what the F is happening in
Colin.
college.
Colin's
in
here. Hi,
America.
Colin.
What's up, Colin? Holly Horn, welcome. Is Holly modded? Holly should be modded. Yeah. I think Holly's modded. If not, everybody's. Hi, Emma Parker. Welcome, Emma Parker, to the stream.
Should mod me.
How are you?
Mod me on Twitch.
Wait, you're not modded on Twitch? I didn't even know you were following.
Apparently not.
Do you have to follow? Bring, bring. We'll get that wonderful sound. So welcome, everybody.
Do I have to follow?
I don't know. You
kind
of do. You kind of do.
Followed. I think I have the heart pressed. I'm following.
You need to run to the freezer real quick.
You mean the one that's 6 feet away from me?
Yeah. Let's back off and be the change. Todd, welcome. How are you? Good to see you tonight as well. Thanks for coming in. Toku, hi. How are you? Welcome. Trans-Marxist, welcome. Everybody. Oh, it's so good. All this is family. Love it. These are the regulars. Darlene, what's going on? All right, so our next story.
I'm prepared.
We have got a Jaeger bomb.
I'm prepared.
Nice.
I am prepared. I am running out, though. I'm going to have to get a bigger bottle, probably. We're going to continue to do it like this.
Yeah, well, if we're going to keep doing Robbie stories, and we're going to keep doing Robbie stories, we're going to need more Jaeger. And I'll take a drink of coffee and toast to Robbie.
Okay, guess I'm finishing it today. Cheers, Robbie.
Cheers. Robbie is the best at finding the money, and he's the man when it comes to Colonial Pipeline. And actually, there was another story he put out today on PolitiFi on his Substack about Colonial Pipeline. But this one is one that definitely got skipped over because it's quite inconvenient to a lot of the people, especially on Twitch, unfortunately. Twitch tends to be a little bit more of a Libby audience. So let's share this around to all of our friends over on Twitch and let them know that some of these dark money groups are being funded by Soros foundations. All right, this Open Society Foundation online grant database, he provides tens of millions of dollars of funding to quote-unquote progressive and center-left political groups during the last election cycle. Yeah, it tastes like college. Okay, so now that you did that, now I can mod you very easily. Use what did I? Oh, did I just deleted your message? Ha ha.
You deleted my message.
Ah. Nice. Should I block him? What do you think? Yeah, I know. I hit the wrong button. I did it. I'm doing Stream Manager for my phone on Twitch. So again, Soros, newly released information gives a clearer picture that the 1630 fund, the Open Society Foundations, gave nearly $17 million to one of the most prominent dark money groups in the cycle, the 1630 fund, which spent nearly $16 million funding pro-Biden super PACs. Future Forward, American Bridge, Unite the Country, Pacrinim, others who blanketed the airways with political ads, right? So this is a way that they wash the money through the dark, through the super PACs and through the 1630 fund, but it's still all coming from the same place. Now, where did it go? Let's see. His most prominent avenue may have come in the form of his Democracy PAC. It's always follow the money. All right. So designed to transfer large sums from his fund for policy reform dark money group over to other political groups, mostly other super PACs. And his investment in Democracy PAC was one of the largest he made last year, coming in at over $75 million. I literally see
Dollar.
I literally see Dr. Evil
That's
with his pinky finger to his mouth when I say that.
Yep.
So Democracy PAC spent over $63 million funding dozens of PACs and SMPs, Senate Majority PACs, Priorities USA, American Bridge, all these dark money organizations that are infiltrating our airwaves. So, Open Society gave $7 million to America Votes, another liberal dark money initiative. Again, Robbie's the best. If you're not subscribed to PolitiFi, please subscribe to PolitiFi News. Jaeger.substack.com. He's also at Robleto Fire, ROBLETOFIRE on Twitter. Brief will drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Actually, I can do that too.
Yeah.
ROBLETOFIRE on Twitter. I think he's also even on Instagram. He's rjaeger89, I believe, on Instagram. So, Soros' reach would extend to progressive organizations, and this is where I wanted to get to. The Working Families Party, whose super PAC raised over $7 million in 2020 and whose largest donor was George Soros' Democracy PAC. Do you think that he's giving this money for nothing? And the Working Families Party's Independent Expenditure Committee spent almost $2 million on ads supporting Biden, Raphael Warnock, Ossoff, trying to win the Senate, but of course smaller buys supporting Ilhan and Rashida. Working Families Organization, also the sole funder of another super PAC, the Nine, to the tune of $1 million. It's a complex web of super PACs, of LLCs, and a lot of these filings, they don't show anything but blacked out names or no amounts.
Yeah.
Now, Robbie's, again, doing all the digging to find all this stuff for us, which is amazing. So again,
Thank you, Robbie.
Yeah, amazing. Sunrise. And this is, everybody touts the Sunrise movement. Well, guess what? Sunrise movement was given over $1 million from Open Society. And again, most of its spending was through its super PAC, whose largest outside donor was the aforementioned 1630 Fund, followed by Democracy PAC, which chipped in another $250,000. They're being co-opted. They're being co-opted by big money because it takes big money to run these organizations, but they think that washing it through all of these super PACs and all of these some semi-transparent organizations, people aren't going to catch it. And most people aren't. And people think that right now, oh, the Sunrise movement, completely grassroots, completely funded by users and completely funded by fans and by you and me. Yeah, not so much anymore. Here's another one, People's Action, another quote-unquote progressive branded group. $900,000 from Open Society. Center for Popular Democracy received $720,000, while there's 501c4. We get over $600K. The latter would fund their in-house super PAC to the tune of approximately $900,000. There is money being thrown all over the place at these quote-unquote progressive organizations. And look at our friends. Oh, I've seen this name before. Center for American Progress.
American Progress. I heard that was a progressive thing.
Our friend Neera Tandon worked over there for quite a while. I seem to recall, right up until
Friend of the show, Neera Tandon.
Right until the time that she took a job in the White House after her nomination for OMB chair was completely torpedoed and she had to withdraw it because they reminded everyone that she had to delete 1,000 mean tweets. Make the road New York. Oh, Soros also donated $15 million to the Obama Foundation, of course. Of course. And again, tweet, share to Facebook, email, share this with your boomer friends, share this with your quote-unquote progressive AOC-loving, Sunrise Movement-loving friends to show them that, look, they're not exactly as squeaky clean as we want them to be, unfortunately. And again, Well, no, not that we're gonna fix that right now.
What happened?
Trans Marxist is going to be modded as well. Of course you are.
Nice. I think
Now that I'm a member of
Andy
your
the
Discord,
Boomer didn't mod everyone. You should probably mod Colin too, right?
I did mod Colin tonight. That was the minute I saw him in there, he got
You
modded.
get a mod.
You get a mod.
You
You
get a
get a mod.
mod.
Basically, all the first 100 people that are hanging out are going to end up modded because hopefully one of these days we have more than a few people watching, and we will need mods that are OGs and that have been with us from the beginning and hang out, and they're cool. So, of course I did. I've made a terrible mistake. Right? Okay, so enough of Mr. Soros. He's a scary looking dude. And yes, I outed Soros for doing
Another
that.
scary looking dude.
Well, that is a scary. Well, yes, Reef is a scary looking dude, but before we go to Reef, more follow the money. And this was in the 10/18 evening edition. Fed Chair Jerome Powell sold over $1 million in stocks right before the crash. Of course he did. And which crash was that? October 1st of 2020. This was just last year. Again, you're talking about a member of the All-Star team, Sharon Zhang, Truthout. She's fantastic. Love her to pieces. She's great. Why isn't this blowing up? This should be because I wasn't on there. Now we can read it a little bigger. So, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell sold between $1 million and $5 million worth just before the crash last year, according to new disclosure filings reviewed by the American Prospect. Powell's massive sale came on October 1st. As the month went on, the Dow dropped by nearly 6%, or 1,600 points. Almost like he had some idea what was coming. He had communicated with Steve Mnuchin 4 times on the day of the sale. 5 days later, he said in a speech that if the second stimulus being considered were to fail, the consequent exacerbation of inequality would quote-unquote be tragic, especially in light of our country's progress on these issues in years.
Right.
So, the same day as Powell's speech, Trump tweeted that he told Republicans to stop negotiating the stimulus package, saying that they should delay its passage until after he won the election, which, of course, never happened. Well,
happened.
A lot of people still debate whether that actually happened or not. We do not. We acknowledge that that Joe Biden is the president. At least he was awarded that by the Electoral College, and that the election has been certified. So we will go through all of that crap. But we would like to see some more transparency from our election machines moving forward. I'll say that.
Yep.
So the same day as Powell's speech, yeah, like I said, the Dow had fallen 376 points after his tweet, and not long after they took away Twitter from Trump. So on October 7th, the minutes of a crucial Fed policy meeting that was held in mid-September were released, and the meeting addressed uncertainty around the financial markets, discussed issues that could threaten it. And he's worth between $20 million and $55 million, according to his disclosure from last year. And guess what? Everybody that was worth between 20 and 55 million before their disclosure, they're worth probably close to double that right now. It's unclear if his October stock trade broke any laws. Likely not. I think that he would have been careful enough not to do that. But then again, this was in the Trump era where they could pretty much get away with anything, and they have. They've been pretty much free from repercussions so far of any crimes or wrongdoing that I've seen. The only person that's gone to jail from the Trump era was Daniel Hale. Is that right?
Yep. Pretty much.
There have been some Russians, and there's that George, whatever his name, guy that went to jail for a couple of weeks, and Carter Page, I think, might have even gone to jail for a little bit or been held in contempt. I'm curious as to what they're going to do with Steve Bannon. I know that he was held in contempt by the House recently. Right. But as Fed chair, he not only has an enormous amount of insider knowledge about the financial markets, but also has sway over the laws governing those markets. He's faced scrutiny from Elizabeth Warren, who called him a dangerous man because of his record of being soft on banks. So again, another scandal rocked the Fed. On February 27th, the vice chair moved between $1 million and $5 million in stocks. And I think, Reef, you actually had put an article about this somewhere.
Yep.
About how they've now passed a somewhat toothless law about how Fed chairs are not able to trade and own individual stocks at this point, because they were trading in stuff like Johnson & Johnson and oil and gas companies during the pandemic. Unbelievable. They're launching an internal review. Sure they are. She's previously introduced legislation to ban members of Congress. I mean, it's just unreal. In August, AOC and Rashida Tlaib urged Biden to find a new Fed chair, saying he hasn't taken enough steps. Again, they can nominate a new Fed chair. I believe that this guy was nominated by Trump. So why are you keeping any Trump appointees at this point at all? And not only that, you've also got Trump appointees on the Postal Service Board. One of whom's term expired last year, one of whom expires in 5 weeks. They have not made any move to make any announcement about a replacement. Sharon Zhang, absolute all-star. Subscribe to Truthout. Support their work. Love her work. She does some great investigative reporting and wonderful writing. So that is our Follow the Money segment.
Nice.
All right, and now we go back to our
Follow the Money
thumbnail. We close that out. And now we're going to move into a whole different kind of realm, which is where's corporate media on a ton of these different stories? And of course, we know how crappy they are. We know why, and we know what's happening. But at the same time, I want to start calling attention to some of these stories that are happening. And this is something that happened over at PressTV, where a senior journalist in Lebanon identified that one of the Beirut snipers was an employee of the U.S. Embassy. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, that flag on the sleeve is kind of a not good.
Yep.
And this was completely ignored by American and Western outlets. Okay. Shukuri Abu Saab, an employee of the U.S. Embassy in Beirut, who was said to be among the snipers who opened fire at protesters on October 15th. So in a post on his Twitter account, photojournalist Hossein Mortada released a photo of Shukuri Abu Saab and said that he had been one of the snipers. On Thursday, at least 7 people were killed. And this is the story. Okay, it was the violence, the worst in more than a decade, and stirred memories of the ruinous 1975 to 90 civil war. In a statement, Hezbollah and Amal said armed groups affiliated with Samir Jaeger. Again, this is just terrible, but this photo is pretty damning. Now, again, I didn't see a photo of them of the shots being fired, but that's why are they fingering this guy? And it definitely leads to question.
Why did you choose fingering for the phrasing?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird.
It's definitely weird. A little weird.
This is the tweet itself. Okay, there's the confirmed that the Jaeger militia was behind the sniper killings. Hezbollah says it will not be dragged into a war. And again, they're claiming that we're essentially stoking fires to give ourselves reasons and excuse to stay there, which is not totally out of the realm. But of course, we also have to take into account that, who the sources are. And we look at all independent sources, and PressTV is national TV for Iran, but they are a global news organization. They have been banned from YouTube, but I think that a lot of that has got to do with with sanctions and got to do with a broader political situation that's happening.
Sure.
Yeah, it should probably be elbowing and not fingering. Exactly, darling. So
Yeah.
that's number one. One of the other articles that I thought that was one of the best articles I've read all month was in Consortium News. Patrick Lawrence, who I'm not familiar with, but I thought that this was an outstanding piece about how the deep state's imperative to colonize independent media is now before us. And I think that you'll recognize some of the photos and you'll recognize some of the people that are described. Okay.
Oh, I've looked up some recently, in fact.
Okay. Saying that, and I love this article again, if independent media are what keep hope alive for a vigorous, authentic fourth estate, as argued severally in this space, independent media are now subject to an insidious, profoundly anti-democratic effort to undermine them. The ICIJ, Frances Haugen, that's the Facebook whistleblower, Maria Ressa.
Yep.
Let us consider this institution and these people. They are all frauds. If by fraudulent we mean that they are not what and who they tell us they are, and claim that to independence from power is bogus. So, the deep state, and at this point it is a mere pretense to object to this term, long ago made it a priority to turn the mainstream press and broadcasters to its purposes, to make a press unfree. And this has gone on since the earliest Cold War decades and is well and responsibly documented. So again, they're saying that if Americans read the many excellent books, that this wouldn't even be a question, but it is. Yeah. Several new realities are now very evident. Chief among them, the deep state's colonization of corporate media is now more or less complete. CNN filling its airtime with spooks, generals, and a variety of official and formerly official liars can be counted on a total takeover. The New York Times is prima facie government supervised, as it confesses in its pages from time to time. The WAPO, owned by a man with a multi-billion-dollar CIA contract, has turned itself into a comic book. Thank you, Dave Weigel. Anytime we can crap on Dave Weigel, I'm happy to do that. For reasons I will never entirely... Yeah.
Prima facie, based on the first impression, in case you didn't know Latin.
That mustache is just wonderful. So, for reasons I can never entirely fathom, corporate media have not merely surrendered their legitimacy, they have actively, enthusiastically abandoned what frayed claim they may have had to credibility. The national security state incorporates mainstream media into its apparatus, and then people stop believing the mainstream media. The thrill is gone, let's say. Right?
Wouldn't it be prima facie?
Look at who it is!
Oh, they said someone so yelled at me.
In consequence of these two factors, independent media have begun to rise as independent media. They accumulate audiences, a little at a time. They acquire the very habits of professionalism the mainstream press and broadcasters have let decay. Gradually, they accumulate the credibility the mainstream has lost. Certain phenomena engendered by independent media prove popular. There are whistleblowers. People inside the deep state institutions start to leak, and they turn to independent media, most famously WikiLeaks, free Julian Assange, to get information out. While the deep states...
Also shout out Greenwald and all the people involved in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
While the deep state's clerks in mainstream media keep their heads down and their mouths closed while cashing their checks, independent media take principled stands in favor of free expression, and people admire these stands. They are, after all, admirable. And we have a few members of the independent media streaming world with us tonight.
Yep.
Those populating the national security state's sprawling apparatus are not stupid. They can figure out the logical response to these developments as well as anyone else. The new imperative is now before us. It is to colonize independent media just as they had the mainstream in previous decades. And actually, Reef was meeting with, went on with our friend Be the Change to talk about one of those type of instances that we discovered.
Yep. Who I seen coming up right.
And he's actually called out there are some hopelessly clumsy cases. I urge all colleagues.
CIA understander. Now my new follower on Twitter, I think.
So he says that he urges all colleagues to stop bothering with the Young Turks in any capacity. Those running it, creatures of those who generously fund it, are simply infradig. As Matt Taibbi pointed out over the weekend in a piece wonderfully headed, "Yes, Virginia, there is a deep state. They've now got some clod named Ben Carollo proclaiming the CIA as an accountable force for good, savior of democracy. This in a video appearing under the rubric Rebel HQ." Oh my goodness. So, as an East European emigre friend used to say, "Give me break.
Give me break.
Give me break." Here's another unfortunate co-option. Democracy Now! Is a subtler instance of colonization. The once admirable Amy Goodman drank the Russiagate Kool-Aid, which I counted the first sign of covert intervention of one or another kind. Then she caved to the orthodoxy on the chemical weapons scam during the Syrian crisis. And lately, you have to watch to believe, Goodman has begun broadcasting CNN investigative reports with unalloyed approval. It seems that Democracy Now!'s donors may have threatened to delay their checks. The three recent phenomena suggested above are indications of the deep state's latest tactics in its assault on independent media and the culture that arises among them. It behooves us to understand this. Now, it's really funny that this was written, I believe, right about the same day that Reef went on with Be the Change, and that we had essentially gone through his Ben Carollo's LinkedIn profile and seen that he was with military intelligence and that he calls himself a CIA understander. Yeah, there's a link.
I put the links to that video in chat.
There's a link in the chat for that great stream. So,
yeah.
Here's another one, the ICIJ, which completely revealing. 2 weeks ago, the ICIJ published the Pandora Papers, a quote-unquote leak of 12 million electronic documents revealing the tax fiddling, money hiding doings of 300-odd political figures around the world. The Pandora Papers followed the publication of the Panama Papers in 2016 and the Paradise Papers a year later, and there are many useful revelations in these various releases, but we ought not to be fooled as to the nature of the project. Where did the ICIJ get the documents in the Pandora Papers and how? Explaining provenance, authenticity, and so forth is essential to any investigative undertaking, but ICIJ has nothing to say on this point. I believe they did do some pretty heavy sourcing, but they won't reveal their sources, so why all of the people the Pandora Papers exposes, is there not one American politician on its list? As Moon of Alabama notes in analysis, it amounts the list to a list of people the U.S. doesn't like. So, and here's where it really gets suspicious. They vigorously insist on their independence, and I'm actually a champion of theirs. I have been. They have a channel in my Discord, and I still include their articles because they do reveal corruption, but their corruption that is happening in what are America's perceived enemies, and it never exposes corruption within Israel. Somebody mentioned that they've never done a story revealing any corruption within Israel as well. So on close inspection, it turns out to be by any serious, not to be so by any serious understanding of the term. Among its donors are the Ford Foundation, who has longtime ties to the CIA, and again, we heard from our friend Robbie Jaeger, the Open Societies Foundation, also a donor to the ICIJ, which is a Soros operation dedicated to cultivating coups in nations that fall outside the fence posts of neoliberalism. So, that's the Midtown offices of the Ford Foundation in Manhattan.
The amount of money you can see through that window is insane.
Whew. Right.
Like, jeez. Look, all right, TV, right? That's easily at least 2,000-3,000, right? Like all those chairs, furniture, they definitely didn't get that at like the thrift store, Like,
yeah. And that was by Wikimedia Commons. Look at that. Oh, that's Wikipedia. So group was founded in 1997 as a project for Center for Public Integrity, another institution dedicated to inspiring change using investigative reporting, as the center describes itself. Among its sponsors are Ford, once again, the Democracy Fund, again, Robbie was following the money, which was founded by Omid Yar, bankroll The Intercept, sponsor of subversion operations in other countries masquerading as civil society projects. So, again, comprised of the sorts of foundations that support NPR, PBS, other media. These are neolib organizations. And if you look at the organizations that was in, that participated from the Miami Herald and the Washington Post, again, neoliberal type of establishment, mainstream media news, no independence. So, what are we looking at here? Not what we're supposed to think we're looking at. And I will return to this question. So, Maria Ressa spoke at the World Economic Forum, and she is the co-winner of the Nobel Peace Prize, a Filipina journalist who founded the Rappler.
She before or after Obama?
She was after this year. So Ressa and the Rappler, each insisting on independence, just as the ICIJ does, are straight out lying at this point. They recently received a grant of $180,000 from the Endowment for Democracy, a CIA front. This according to an NED financial report issued earlier this year. None other again than Pierre Omidyar and a group called North Base Media own non-voting shares in the publication. So they are funneling money in, but they probably have behind-the-scenes influence and, again, non-voting, but that doesn't mean that you don't have some discussion. So Nobel in hand, Maria Ressa has already declared that Julian Assange is not a journalist and independent media needs new regulations. So, again, a tool of the establishment. And then, of course, we come to the Facebook quote-unquote whistleblower, Frances Haugen.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the case of Frances Haugen, the former Facebook executive who recently appeared before Congress waving lots of documents that she seems to have secreted out of Facebook's offices to argue for, what else at this point, increased government regulation of social medias and censorship. Frances Haugen, you see, is a courageous, speak truth to power whistleblower. Never mind that her appearance on Capitol Hill was carefully choreographed by Democratic Party operatives. It's hard to say who's more courageous, I find. The ICIJ, Maria Ressa, or Frances Haugen. Where would we be without them? The culture of independent media, as it has germinated and developed over the past decade or so, gave us WikiLeaks, and its effectiveness cannot be overstated. It gave us all manner of gutsy journalists standing up for the principles of a genuinely free press, and people listened. It gave us whistleblowers who were admired even as the deep state condemns them. Daniel Hale, Chelsea Manning.
Yeah.
Even though she's kind of Glenn Greenwald, which Mysterio, whatever, but still put herself out there. Julian Assange, Edward Snowden. Say their names, not just them, but there are tons of whistleblowers out there that put themselves on the line. And
I hope there continue to be more.
And now National Security State gives us a secret disclosing crew of mainstream hacks, a faux independent journalist elevated to the highest honors, a whistleblower who was handed her whistle, 3 crowd pleasers, 3 simulacra. These 3 are frauds. They are to independent journalism what McDonald's is to food. Oh, so good. All right. There's only one defense against this assault on truth and integrity, but it is a very good one. It is awareness. CNN, Democracy Now!, the ICIJ, Maria Ressa, Frances Haugen, none of these are, and many other media are people, and people are properly labeled, but the labels can be written with modest efforts. Awareness and scrutiny, watching and listening will prove enough. I don't know if it'll prove enough, to be honest.
That list.
But, dude, that is fire from Patrick Lawrence, chiefly for the International Herald Tribune. This was an excellent article, one of my favorites. I also wanted to make mention, he did mention about, I missed it. I lost it.
What?
Oh, Frances Haugen. How
Yeah.
is it that this woman that nobody knew about in like 2 days had a blue check on Twitter and 60,000 followers? Nobody
Yeah.
ever asked that question.
Yep. But I do think people should go look at
Shady.
and Todd's video over at Be the Change.
Be the change.
I put that link in chat earlier if you want to scroll up and find it. It's super good.
Again,
Yeah.
Consortium News, independently funded. Support this organization. You've got UN Joe. What's it? Joe Loria, who's over there, and you've got Elizabeth Voss publishes there. They pick up Chris Hedges stories. They pick up Common Dream stories. A lot of the stories that you see featured in Independent Left News also make it into Consortium News at some point. Excellent publication. Total integrity. They were founded by Robert Parry. May he rest in peace. I believe he passed away in 2018. And we're still going with where is corporate media, because the next story was another one that I didn't see anybody else talking about, and it's our friend Orf. But before we do that, let's look at some chat. Say hi to everybody in chat. This article is fire. Totally agree. Patrick Lawrence was great. Yeah, is she in jail or hiding from CIA with death threats? No, not a whistleblower. Exactly, Darlene. And Chelsea did seem to walk back her Greenwald comment. Well, that's good. Glad to hear that. Yeah, and that she was going to the Intercept instead of Assange. We saw that, and then she really tweeted at him. And then she was on the Deconstructed podcast right afterwards. It was kind of a direct shot, I think, at Greenwald on behalf of the Intercept. That was my take on the whole thing. But I did want to make mention of Orf. He has a Substack called censorednews.substack.com. You can follow him on Twitter at 0RF. He also made the move over to Rumble with Glenn Greenwald when Greenwald made his big announcement. I've been a Patreon subscriber and supporter of Orf since the summertime. I love his editing work. He first popped up on the scene, I think, during doing a Bernie edit and a Bernie video, cutting stuff together back during the 2020 cycle. And
Yeah.
he also does live streams. He streams on YouTube. He's got Odyssey. I believe he's now on Rockfin as well as Rumble. And he's a good dude, like Orf. So, Julian Assange, first publisher in U.S. history to be prosecuted for publishing classified material. In 2019, he asked Jim Acosta what he thought of the historic case and its potential impact. And Acosta dodged the question, instead spoke about Russia in the 2016 election, even though the charges against Assange, of course, have nothing to do with either, and he's in jail for the Iraq war logs that were published and that were released by Chelsea Manning. So again, such muddying of the truth is why viewers left cable news outlets like CNN for independent news on YouTube. But earlier this year, YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki acknowledged that the platform's sketchy new policy of suppressing independent news and artificially boosting so-called authoritative news sources like CNN. But of course, you can see this. This is unbelievable. In action, you can see this in real time by typing Jim Acosta Julian Assange into the search bar. None of the videos covering Acosta's comments on Assange are in the top search results. They are suppressing the results. But what is showing up, the very top result, is a downvoted CNN video of James Clapper, titled Former Intel Chief Reacts to Assange Arrest. Okay? No mention of Acosta. And while Clapper briefly discusses Assange, the majority of the video isn't about him, because before the halfway point, it's changed to Russians, spies, and election meddling, which again has nothing to do with the case against Assange. They're trying to muddy the waters. YouTube says its search results are based on data, including titles and thumbnails, yet this top search results makes no mention of Acosta and includes no image of either Acosta or Assange in the thumbnail, just James Clapper. YouTube Search and Discovery team says video rankings are based on satisfaction signals from viewers. Do they like or dislike it? However, the performance of the highly promoted CNN video is extremely poor with more likes than dislikes. They ratioed it. It's from 2019 and it was ratioed, and that's what they're promoting as the #1 video to watch. Now, in contrast, a video by our friend Jimmy Dore, friend of the show,
Yes, sir.
titled Jim Acosta Destroyed Over Julian Assange at Newseum, which actually does include Jim Acosta and comment thoroughly on Assange, is ranked lower in search results despite better performance metrics in every single category. View count,
12K likes.
okay, likes to dislike ratio, engagement, and rating. All right. So when viewers search for Jim Acosta, Julian Assange, YouTube promotes a highly disliked video with no mention of Acosta. That's mostly not about Julian Assange, and features perhaps the least trustworthy man in America. He famously lied under oath to the U.S. Senate when he denied that the government was systematically collecting data on hundreds of millions of Americans. Thank you to Edward Snowden for outing that. Since committing the crime of perjury, he has repeatedly lied about his lies, lying at least 4 separate times about lying to Congress. For example, in addition to lying about mass surveillance, he's lied about lying about spreading the Steele dossier, which itself is filled with bullshit and lies. During the 2020 election, Clapper appeared on CNN to lie about Biden family emails. He told voters that the emails, which suggested corruption, were Russian disinformation and dismissed them as classic textbook Soviet Russian tradecraft. Look at Aaron Permet. Duck face.
Is that the sound of the duck face? That's what it sounds like to you?
All right. However, Politico has since confirmed that the
Are
Biden...
you duck facing, man? That's what I wanted to know. Like, did you duck face when you made that noise?
And look...
Like...
And Aaron Burnett's doing duck face, and Clapper's going, I'm a sad panda.
Oh, yeah, the saddest man.
I'm a sad panda. Saddest. Well, I lie to your face.
Is that like resting sad face? Is that what that is?
RSF? Yeah, I guess you could call that RSF. So Clapper continues to be a proven source of election meddling disinformation, yet he remains on CNN, and CNN remains boosted as an authoritative source by YouTube. Besides being an abominable purveyor of misinformation, Clapper also dabbles in hate speech. YouTube began its modern censorship campaign when it removed Alex Jones for hate speech, but for some reason, YouTube allows Clapper to use the same xenophobic rhetoric. In a video on NBC's official YouTube channel, he accuses Russians of being, quote, genetically untrustworthy. Wow. The Russians, he says, quote,
what does that mean?
Are typically almost genetically driven to co-opt, penetrate, gain favor, or whatever. Normally, they... Wow, that's pretty smearing and pretty dense. Stereotyping Russian people as genetically malicious appears to be a violation of YouTube's hate speech policy, prohibiting content that incites hatred against groups based on ethnicity and nationality. Alas,
they're going to be my best fucking friends.
Alas, YouTube not only continues to host Clapper's hate speech, the big tech monopoly actively promotes his misinformation network.
Us Tallahassee boys love our Russians.
Thank you to
Shout
whoever...
out for Kreischer. Sorry, Brad Krishley.
Brad Krishley.
Brad Krishley's pretty great.
This is what we call 2 bears, 1 cave.
He's almost like down to my weight. I know he works real hard on
Bert's killing
getting
it,
slim,
Bert's killing it. So again, everybody subscribe, censorednews.substack.com. This is Matt Orfale. He's got a really funny video where he's got like everybody saying his name wrong because nobody knows how to pronounce his name. We just call it Orf.
He put out some heat. He put out some heat today on one of like the main Chappelle protest people, and it was
yes, crazy. about Daphne. Yes,
yeah.
I did see that video.
Hate.
Yeah, and about Ashley Marie Preston and some of the wonderful things that she said in her past.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful person. I remember I was still watching TYT at that point when she went on TYT and said some of the most awful, heinous things to the point where I don't think that she's been back on that network since. And if so, that's pretty damn gross on their part. Sorry.
Maybe
So,
Dan will bring it back on.
again, like, share, subscribe to Orf. Thank you, Orf. This is great outing of James Clapper and exposing the suppression that's happening at YouTube. That is why everybody is moving over towards Rumble. Everybody's moving over towards Rockfin. Everybody's backing up their channel to Odyssey. And I encourage anyone that's streaming to engage with those three platforms, to co-stream out to Twitch, to co-stream out to Twitter, and to Facebook as well, because you want to be as diverse as possible. There's even BitChute. There is I think it's Ustream is another one, or Super U. I think Aaron Mate was talking about recently. So they're all M Live and D Live are two other crypto based video platforms that we can also go live on. So again, I would highly recommend anyone that's using these platforms to use YouTube as your commercial to drive people to your other platforms in the end. Especially if you're monetizing on other platforms and you're looking to monetize. I like what the Convo Couch has been doing. I like what the Gray Zone has been doing, where they are putting clips or shorter versions of their streams. And then what they'll do is they'll cut off the YouTube stream, driving people over to the other platforms if you want to watch the rest of the show, which I think is a really smart idea.
I saw Susie Dawson put out another update for Pancake I need to check out.
Did she?
Yeah, I think that was with Graham or something like that.
We got a few more stories here. So the next one was another one of the top articles that I read all week long. And again, I really didn't see anybody else covering this. And as somebody who started this whole venture with a newsletter, to read about the corporate infiltration of the newsletter industry when it comes to politics and news, this was really near and dear to my heart. And this was an excellent expose. It's really long. And I, again, highly encourage you to go to the Daily Poster and read all the news that's fit to spin. That's the name of this article. And it exposes specifically the Punch Bowl. It talks about Axios. It talks about several different of these morning publications. I get one also called Morning Brew in my work email that is put out on the review platform through Twitter. And look at who their content is sponsored by, presented by ExxonMobil and Chevron and the Healthcare Association. So big corporations, and they're using this as a mouthpiece with their sponsored content. And the Punch Bowl News apparently has turned into like a Washington a checklist, a to-do list. And these companies have figured out that to get in front of all of the heavies and the decision makers in Washington, that you can sponsor and be part of these newsletters, which are delivered to people's inbox. So Mark Halperin apparently started the Note, and this was the beginning of the newsletter business. But now Politico, Punch Bowl, Axios, okay, they are openly saying they're pioneering the native advertising model, right? They're basically corporate whores. So MSNBC and CNN are owned by the telecom giants Comcast and AT&T. Provide these corporate pamphleteers recurring television guest slots to tell the masses how to properly interpret what's happening in Washington. They have sources and you don't. Again, this is such a good article. Sirota, Walker Bragman, Andrew Perez worked really hard in exposing this. I actually was calling mention to this earlier in the week when they were ignoring the Donziger thing in a newsletter sponsored by Chevron. Each day it's sponsored by one of them or HCA Healthcare, tech companies, actively trying to sway and manufacture the discourse parameters for the legislation Punch Bowl is covering. And they've made mention, you can see in here there are some screenshots. Yeah, here. Tuesday's Punch Bowl newsletter was worse. They had the email headline, "Try Believing Joe Manchin," was yet again sponsored by ExxonMobil, the oil company whose lobbyist recently admitted that they talk every week to his office. And they actively revised history in a way that no doubt pleased ExxonMobil, declaring that if you've listened to Manchin and you're still surprised by or enraged by his positions, that may be because you're irrationally hopeful that he'll change his beliefs, or that you're engaging in wishful and likely unrealistic thinking because he's been wildly consistent. I read this and my head fucking exploded, honestly. My head exploded. I remember putting screenshots of this out on Twitter, and then 2 hours later, Andrew Perez put something out also. Odyssey is a good platform. I'm a little disappointed in their tech sometimes. The thing will just crash on me. I don't know why. But yes, I think they're a really good platform. Manchin said lawmakers should spend as much as $4 trillion, and now all of a sudden it's down to $1.5 trillion max, right? So tell me how wildly consistent he's been. He's wildly consistent in that he keeps dropping the number, and that he keeps backing off and moving the goalposts. So again, here's what you have to understand about Manchin. Here it is. He says what he means when he gets heavy pressure from the left that helps him back home, except he's faced very little actual pressure from the left. You won't find any sustained advertising campaign targeting Manchin for working to deny dental, vision, and hearing benefits to seniors through Medicare, even though seniors in his state desperately need the help. It's unreal. On the other hand, if you live in West Virginia, you may have seen ads from a health insurance industry front group claiming Manchin has fought for seniors, by which they mean that he wants to make sure private health insurers keep making huge profits from the Medicare Advantage program. Grosser than grosser than gross. I subscribe to the Punch Bowls just so that I can see what kind of misinformation they're spreading out there, so that I know how to counter a narrative.
Talking about Medicare Advantage. What? I'm too old for this shit.
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
Yep. We covered that story a few weeks ago. That he's been doing commercials championing that.
Yep.
Okay, nor has Manchin faced significant pressure from the Biden White House. Of course he hasn't, because he's done their bidding, essentially. Among the only pushback he faced was a single op-ed by Bernie, published in a West Virginia newspaper, calling on him to support the party's reconciliation bill that prompted a public meltdown from the Wolf of West Virginia. Okay, but the most insulting part was Punch Bowl writing, "Here's the reality. Joe Manchin is a filibuster-supporting conservative Democrat who's also an ardent supporter of coal, skeptical of big government and massive spending packages." Wait.
Yeah, but only clean coal.
Wait, what? Wait. I believe that he did vote for the Trump tax cuts, first of all.
Sure.
Also,
Well,
another recent Punch Bowl blast, sponsored by Chevron, 6 days after Stephen Donziger was sentenced to jail for the alleged crime of helping a poor community win an environmental lawsuit against the company.
Yep.
Grosser than grosser than gross. Again, awesome article. Wonderful expose. Support the Daily Poster. They're growing. They're adding more reporters. I think I already have an annual subscription. Maybe I don't. I was one of the very first subscribers paid to the Daily Poster when it was just called the Sorota Substack. Even the comments are usually good. Okay. The Sunday shows are ridiculous. ABC used Rahm Emanuel and Chris Christie as representative of the political class, which they are, as is George Stephanopoulos, and the parameters of discussion are well defined. I mean, this is fire.
Stephanopoulos or Soros?
No. Well, this is George Stephanopoulos. They're talking about the Sunday shows, and how corporate right wing groups. Everything was sponsored by Pfizer. Didn't Jimmy Dore? Or I saw somebody played a clip where every single major news program had at least a segment that was sponsored by Pfizer. Sponsored by Pfizer. Hey, how about that? It's sponsored by Pfizer.
I saw Caitlin Johnstone tweeted that out too.
Maybe it was Caitlin, and we'll have a Caitlin segment coming up in a little bit.
What? No, you never have Caitlin.
Yeah, we've
What?
got a Kate. Of course, we got Caitlin's corner. So also
Woo!
this one's bad. Let me go back and take out the reader mode. Oh, that does run faster. And let's go back to what's up, dudes? What's up, everybody?
I
Dudes
now
and
know you know.
dudettes.
Now you know what that woo's from when I do it. You watch that?
Jimmy Dore is
the-
going to be publishing exclusively first to Rumble, and then it will be making the segments. Will be making it to YouTube afterwards.
Yep.
You can already see that his view counts on Rumble are going sky high.
Yep. They're way up.
He's not going to do exclusive live streams, though, I don't believe, because you actually have to pay $25 a month to live stream to Rumble, believe it or not. He probably will not, would be my guess.
Did you watch Jimmy's segment on the Exxon guy getting tricked on the interview or whatever?
I did see that.
Yeah.
And actually, Dontel, Unapologetic, watched that segment, and he rearranged his entire live stream to cover it because he couldn't believe it. I remember seeing that segment from News Channel 4 in the UK back 4 or 5 months ago when this first came out, and I was kind of surprised that nobody else covered it. But let me go back to the next article, which is out of Common Dreams, an amazing publication, and I think this is Julia Conley, Julia Conley, who's one of the all-stars and one of the top writers over there. Report details jaw-dropping abuse of asylum seekers by U.S. border agents. And this isn't 2020. This isn't 2019. This is Kids in Cages. This is October 21st of this year.
Yep.
A report by Human Rights Watch out Thursday is being reviewed by by Homeland Security after it detailed how asylum seekers have faced years of physical, sexual, and verbal abuse at the hands of CBP agents at the U.S.-Mexico border. I don't think there's any surprise, but based on 160 reports filed by asylum seekers, the report titled "They Treat You Like You Are Worthless" describes asylum seekers facing beatings, threats of violence, molestation, and destruction of their personal documents, among other abusive conduct. Gross. Awful. One asylum seeker at the San Francisco Asylum Office told DHS that the office had interviewed a young child who was sexually molested by someone we believe to be a CBP officer, but they don't know for sure. They were apprehended by Border Patrol, sent to the ICE box, which is a border holding cell. Then this occurred. The young girl was forced to undress and touched inappropriately by a guard in the ice box wearing green with the name tag redacted. Of course. Oh, the name tag was not redacted, but they say what the name tag said. In some cases reported by asylum officers, Border Patrol agents did not conduct credible fear interviews as they're supposed to when they apprehend a migrant to determine if the faces the threat of persecution or violence in their home country, or falsified reports regarding the migrant's credible fear. One says she testified that she told the immigration officers she was afraid to return, and they wrote down she said she was not. She stated that the immigration officers did not tell her what she was signing when they typed it in her signature. Another asylum seeker from Honduras reported to an officer that when he refused to sign paperwork out of fear that the documents, which were in English, were deportation papers, a CBP agent told him that he was not able to seek asylum in the U.S. and that if he didn't sign it, he was going to be sent to jail where they were going to rape him. Oh, God.
Oh.
A threat of rape is a gross violation for refusing to sign paperwork. And that was not made clear to an applicant. Compounded by the fact that this applicant was in fact raped, which resulted in him fleeing his country. It is extremely disturbing that the officer acted with such insensitivity. And in my personal opinion, this is a serious act of misconduct. And again, repeated documented cases. Joe Biden said the agents in another video that happened while Trump was president would be held accountable. Well, of course. Yeah, sure. We'll hold the Trump era guys accountable, but Biden administration should not be making excuses for failures by DHS. Of course, HRW reported that DHS has not responded to 2 requests the group made in the past month, asking them for information about investigations or disciplinary actions that have resulted from several cases of abuse, including violations of due process and dehumanizing treatment. Terrible. Del Rio, of course, that's where all the Haitians were being deported from. Interim policy, the Undocu Black Network has seen summaries of the records HRW obtained. CBP suffers from long-standing and serious transparency, oversight, and accountability deficits, says the Project on Government Oversight. Long-term change relies on the understanding that the fundamental profession reforms may struggle to take root until CBP's outdated model of border enforcement, one that depends on deterrence through militarization, is revised, and CBP's footprint in border communities is reduced. Freaking men. Let's do that. Let's do that now. But of course, we know what's going to happen. Nothing will fundamentally change. But
nothing's going to happen.
Where is corporate media reporting any of this? Where? Totally disappeared.
Nowhere.
I have a couple more stories to get to, and then we can get to Reef's boats crashing into other boats section. But I did want to make a section of indie writers you need to read. And this is somebody who I've been reading for a while, and I can't believe that we are 9 weeks and 9 episodes in, and this is the first time that I'm shouting her out. She's actually a friend of mine on Twitter. I met her, we quote unquote met virtually through me reading her articles and retweeting her and sharing them. She's outstanding writer. You see, she's got over 12,000 followers on Medium. Her name is Lauren Elizabeth. This article, now I am maxed out because I read every one of her articles. I don't subscribe on Medium, but she does have a Ko-fi account, which I do encourage everyone to support. I'm not a Medium fan and not a fan of subscribing to Medium as a platform. Similar to Rockfin in that you pay $5 a month. I believe you get access to everybody's work. Just not a fan personally. And what I have learned is that if you open the article in a private window, you will be able to see the full article without having to subscribe. And I did love very much this one, and I thought everybody here would really enjoy reading it as well. xlauren-mx.medium.com. And I do very frequently include her in the top 5 for leftist.today, and she's frequently appearing in Independent Left News. And she's got an adorable little kitty cat also. She lives in upstate New York. Now, Lauren is actually a healthcare professional worker. She's a healthcare worker's aide, and she does this on the side, in her spare time, and she writes very consistently, beautiful writing. Sometimes she writes a lot exposing what's going on with Manchin and cinema and the rotating villain stuff within the party, correctly predicting what's going to happen sometimes weeks in advance. And this one I thought was really high quality and fit with what we're talking about, which is that Joe Biden is weak and the American people will pay for it, and that there are real long-term consequences for his inability to effectively lead. And what I love about her stuff is that they are short reads, but they are to the point, they are poignant, and they've got some gut punches similar to like a Caitlin Johnstone. So before he was even elected, I and countless others questioned whether or not Joe Biden was the leader to meet this movement. Of course, we're among them as well. With the coronavirus pandemic raging, inequality rising, people desperate for change, regardless of where they might find themselves on the political spectrum, there's no denying that whoever would occupy the office of the president following Trump would face unique challenges they would need to be willing to tackle. To this day, watching the Democrats rapidly coalesce around the most milquetoast, boring, status quo politician they could find in an effort to beat the candidate who not only polled well against Trump, but got more people excited than any Democratic candidate in decades just to stop Medicare for all and higher taxes on wealthy, was an experience that has forever changed the way I view politics. Not only that, they organized better against Bernie Sanders than they ever did against the GOP. Boom. And one of the things that's cool about Medium is you can actually highlight that and tweet it as a quote. Nevertheless, here we are with Joe Biden, left wondering what's going to happen next. Joe Biden is incredibly weak. As much as liberal voters and loyal Democrats might like to deny it, the man can't even hold his caucus together, much less keep a campaign promise. After all, in not even a year in, and we've already abandoned the $15 minimum wage, police reform, immigration reform, and negotiating drug prices for Medicare. Throughout the tenure of his presidency, the bravest thing he did was exit Afghanistan. Unfortunately, that bravery and willingness to do what is objectively the right thing to do doesn't seem to extend to fighting for legislation that would benefit the American people. He's had a year to prove himself. Well, it's been really 9 months. Right now, regardless of whether or not his administration is directly responsible or not, the American people who don't follow politics see supply chain issues, gas prices skyrocketing, food, grocery prices skyrocketing, inflation across the board, and a president who can't even get his own caucus behind him at a time when the party holds the House, the Senate, and the White House. Not only that, but when members of his own party hold his agenda hostage, he does nothing aside from shrug his shoulders and pretend as though there's nothing he can do. It's not only is it weakness, it's weakness that the American people are going to end up paying for in the end. As she said before, she doesn't care. She could care less. I could not care less about Joe Biden, his fellow corrupt corporate Democrats, or their political futures. I don't care about Kamala Harris wringing her hands, unable to figure out how she could possibly be so unpopular. I don't care about Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi. I care about the fact that their flailing and fundamental inability to get anything done is paving the way for a Republican landslide in 2022. Yep. A Republican Party that has learned its lessons has already begun gerrymandering districts in order to ensure they secure the House for the next 10 years minimum, and is facing the undeniable reality that democracy is an inconvenience they could live without. Okay. Again, debatable, but okay, I see what she's saying. And here we are with a Democratic Party that still treats all this like politics as usual. Joe Biden can't even figure out how to fight for his own legislation that would shape his legacy. And we're expected to believe he's going to lead the Democratic Party through the midterms and hold the House and Senate? And yet we can really be surprised when his entire career is encompassed with concessions to the right under the guise of negotiations. Even when CNN is talking about how this next election could spell disaster for Democrats, there's only so many warnings that can be given. Biden himself seems to understand that he's the last dying breath of neoliberalism's reign. There's a bloodbath coming politically, and the Democrats will only have themselves to thank for it. She dares them to run, vote blue no matter who again. Let's see how it turns out. Well, we know how it's going to turn out, and we know that they're going to do just that. But again, please donate to her Ko-fi account. Lord Elizabeth, she's outstanding. Joe Biden is weak. Can't agree more. Great work, Lauren. Thank you for your support, for your work. Really appreciate your voice out there. Diddle-doo, diddle-doo. Let's go back to the thumbnail.
Before you go to the next one, can you fix the Discord stream? Because it wasn't scrolling.
It wasn't
I
scrolling?
couldn't see any of now it's updated.
Okay.
I think you I don't know. Scroll down the page for me on this one real quick. Okay, yeah, that works.
Okay.
It was just that one tab didn't work.
Weird. So I noticed that a friend of ours started a Substack this week.
Yep.
Nick Cruz. Congratulations. Everybody go over and subscribe to Nick's newsletter. progressivemartialartist.substack.com. Did want to give him a little shout out.
He just gave me a like on Twitter a second ago.
The Democratic Party is where movements go to die and state violence expands. So good. Definitely read this and check this one out. Subscribe and support. And I don't know if he's got monetization turned on yet, if he's connected to Stripe. But you can definitely support Fred Hampton leftists on Ko-fi. Good. Detailed with screenshots, receipts. Biden's class war, showing exactly what he's talking about. Incredible piece. Good job, Nick.
Nice.
And there you go. There's where you can support Nick's work. Cash App, Venmo,
Yeah.
Patreon. Great work. Finally, we've got Caitlin's Corner. And this was actually, she published this last night. I put it in this morning's edition. We are ruled by apes with PR firms. I just thought that was just freaking genius. I love her. I love her. Right? And of course, you can listen to the reading, which is droll and hilarious. But there are some great little snippets in here. Again, subscribe to Caitlin's newsletter, CaitlinJohnstone.substack.com. She's the best. Ko-fi, Patreon. I don't know if she has Patreon. I think she just has Ko-fi. That's where I subscribe to her. So yeah, basically we're watching sociopathic oligarchs shore up more and more control over the global population. Our electoral systems are rigged to prevent us from doing anything about it. And our information systems are stacked to prevent mass-scale direct action against it.
Yep.
You can't vote your way out of a problem you never voted your way into in the first place. You can't have a revolution while everyone is successfully propagandized into accepting things as they are. Any solution, therefore, is going to have to come from somewhere they haven't secured. I mean, this is so good. Here's the we're ruled by apes with PR firms.
Yep.
The sociopaths who rule our world are no more conscious of their own inner processes than your average serial killer. Just so good. So good. And again, no normal people want digital identity laws passed. Rank and file members of the public aren't sitting around going, man, it sure sucks we can't prove our identity online with a digital ID that contains all our information. Only the powerful want this, and for good reason. This is a link to the Gray Zone article from Max Blumenthal about digital passports. And who was the other person? I can't think of him, but outstanding piece there as well. If you're voicing very basic human rights concerns about mandates and digital IDs, will get you called an anti-vaxxer, and it will. Is there any reason to treat that label like it's a real thing with any actual meaning anymore? Yeah, Planet of the Propagandist is right.
You know what's funny? I saw that next one as a tweet she just put out. Like that whole thing is like.
These are notes from
One
the
of
edge of the
her
narrative
tweets.
matrix. So these are like kind of her deep thoughts, rearranged.
Yep.
Sometimes they're haiku, sometimes they're tweets, sometimes they're
Sometimes they're haiku.
paragraph. But either way, they're steeped in brilliance anytime Caitlin's gonna put them out. Because I saw this one. First hackers, then Havana Syndrome microwave beams. It sure is crazy how Russia keeps attacking the U.S. in invisible ways that only U.S. intelligence agencies can see. So good. I'm old enough to remember when advancing U.S. military objectives needed to be justified by actual physical events, like planes crashing into buildings. Now it's justified by invisible, unverifiable allegations for which the evidence is classified.
Classified.
So good. Tax the rich in practice just means tax the rich a tiny amount more, which will make no material difference, and will be rolled back the instant Republicans are in control. In practice, slow incremental change always means no change at all. The purpose of establishment propaganda is to deceive the ruled into believing that their interests are one and the same as the interests of their rulers. I think it was actually before Bill Maher really turned the corner, used to say, how is it that every Republican's interests align perfectly with that of the Koch brothers? And I thought that was actually a really good point. Yep. So again, everybody support our wonderful friend Caitlin Johnstone. She does have a Patreon, PayPal, buy her books. Subscribe on CaitlinJohnstone.com or on Substack. She's also on Medium.
Yeah.
Everyone, racist platforms excluded, has her permission to republish because she's based and she's kick-ass and we love her to death. And she accepts
Nice.
Bitcoin donations if you want to hook her up with that.
Nice.
So thank you, Caitlin. Thanks for the retweets this week. You're blowing up my Twitter, and I love it, and I appreciate it, and I really appreciate all your support, and we appreciate
should set up-
your voice out there, and we need more voices. So India's
Well,
wiped at 1:45 since we went live, and it is time.
Yeah.
Just the two of us.
Woo!
Woo!
Together if we try. Oh, I gotta stop singing. I sing
The
so well
boats
that YouTube will
crashing
copyright us.
into other boats.
Boats crashing into other boats. What are we seeing? We're seeing Twitch. Hi, Twitch.
Why are we looking at Twitch dashboard?
Because I haven't pressed this button yet.
Oh wow! Hey, wow. Oh,
Isn't
that
this
makes
nice?
Maybe I.
Oh wait,
Wow.
I gotta go back. Hold on, I gotta go back here.
Wait,
Now
Morty.
we have to do.
Morty, that is yummy.
Morty.
That's delicious.
You can't hear it.
Oh, I
There
can't
we go.
hear it.
We're
Oh my God. Oh.
crashing into other
literally
boats.
boats crashing into other boats.
Yes.
So now we have an
just-
intro to the segment.
I will be pulling together an intro completely.
Yeah, we'll need an
But-
intro for that. That's great.
I gotta go grab the Jimmy clip and stuff. But anyway, I just thought it would be funny. But yeah, this lovely piece of work right here, which if anyone wants to make me one of these and just mail it, you're welcome.
Are they
do
literally
so.
smoking $100 bill
No, that's a particular paper you can buy.
and wrapped in?
Like rosin
Oh my
with the little. I love when people do this little, like they take like one little leaf out of the nug and use it as like the. I love. That's just the detail.
and then dipped,
You know.
in THC
Yeah.
crystals.
Yeah.
And then he
So-
rolls the whole thing in crystals.
Here's another one. Shout out to our trees, home of the ants. Right. Here's how you do it. Right. You just toast the edges.
Yep.
Right. You just toast those edges, and then you can just boop,
Oh, look at
you
that.
just pull that right on out of there.
What a lovely
and then,
little hat.
And then you
That
get
was-
to toast all those little edges, and
Damn.
But so in 2008, right, the Vermont prison inmates were being used as labor to make decals for cop cars.
You boys like Mexico? Woo!
Woo!
That makes
They
me think of
edit-
Super Troopers.
They edited the design to hide a pig in the image.
Oh my God.
30 cop cars drove around Vermont with the hidden pig.
Oh
for
my God,
4
I see it right
years
there. Ah!
Before it was discovered.
Wait,
Yeah, here, I'll do
Wait,
a
there's
little
two of
zoom
them.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
there's-
scroll down. It's underneath the
Yeah,
mountain
so
on the
there's-
right, on the left one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no,
right
there's
here's-
two
here's the
inside.
cow.
Wait, but then there's a pig inside.
Yeah,
That's
so
not a
this
cow.
is-
That's a pig, right?
Yeah. Well, this is a cow, but
Oh.
on the cow, in the cow, they put the pig.
Oh, My
Like clear
word.
as day, this little pig. Right? Like
That's
it
great.
zoomed in there.
That is beautiful.
Like I love if you can resist like this, I am down for any of those. You know, NWA already has the quote. You're welcome to go listen to that whole song multiple times.
FTPs.
Yeah. Coming straight from the underground.
All right,
So,
so we're
here's
getting a
another
lot of
one of our
weed
boys.
stuff this week. Okay, I like that.
You always got to start the show, get everyone in the mood, right? So you got your weed, you got your little bonzies, and some pishwasher.
Are you gonna shotgun? Okay, no, that's not water. I
That
don't
is
know
not
how well.
water.
I don't know how well that filters. Oh,
Yeah, it's probably
why do I have a feeling I know
gross.
what's coming? Why do I have a feeling I know what's coming? He's gonna shotgun that and then shotgun the beer out of the bong. Oh my God, ew. Oh my God, ew.
That's a real foamy one too.
Oh,
Like
oh.
Ooh. And he does it, takes it like a champ. Like,
wow.
that's what's up.
Damn.
Like, will you be my friend? So we got another one of these awesome. Like you got the little, you see the little rosin snake they got going in there.
Yep. That's a resin
Right.
snake, sure.
Yep.
Or a hash snake that
Nice,
looks like a rolled out
some nice
line
herbage.
of hash.
And then, this cool guy.
Oh, you little bastard.
Yes.
You bastard.
Señor Gatito, no. Es muy malo.
No.
Like, fucking the cat just bip, bip, double taps it.
Oh, that hurts.
That hurts so much.
That just cost him a bunch of cash.
Oh, you got to do that. You got to do that vacuum with the sock on it trick. That's what you got to do now.
Oh gosh.
But so I wanted to welcome you to Florida since you've got some trips coming up.
Yep.
Right. I just figured.
Hey man.
Oh.
You all right, bro? You doing okay?
I think he drunk. I think
Are
he
you
drank
drunk?
too much.
Are you drunk?
Are
I think he
you
drank
drunk?
too much?
Right. Have a
Pull
good night.
over.
Don't hiss at
Pull
me.
over.
Pull over. Have you been drinking too? I love how he's like he asked the gator like, "You been drinking?"
Pull over.
Like,
Pull over.
so you're not allowed to walk your gator on Sunday in Florida. I just figured you should know. But what do we got? I think I got some dad zone. Oh no, we got just idiots smacking things.
Oh my god. See, now
and
that
his
is going to get
foot,
me. That is going to
Two-Face.
get us suspended or get the thing
No.
like hidden behind a.
What in slow mo?
Yeah.
She's fine.
Come on, and she's okay.
She's fine.
Maybe.
She's
but-
okay.
Okay, stop. Facebook's not gonna like that.
I mean, they like.
Facebook literally put a
Deontay Wilder
violent.
fight.
Literally, we did a stream for 2
Yeah,
hours.
how much did-
and
how
Facebook
much
put a
did
violent
Facebook-
filter over it because of this.
How much did Facebook make off like Deontay Wilder ads?
Thanks,
Like,
Facebook. Come on, what do we got
all right, we got another kung fu master.
with a mask? Oh,
Oh, you got knocked the fuck
fuck out!
Oh, jeez. I love the little skippy
The
kicks.
spin moves.
Kicks,
Yeah,
whip,
yeah, you do that. I'm just gonna-
and just
gonna
the
whale you.
meanest right hook. Bip.
Okay,
Just
next.
this one's part of the dad zone, right? And it's weird because they NSFW'd it, so they blurred it, right? Which I don't know why they blurred it, right? So when you finally let your kids dress themselves, right? You know, this is the first time you let the kid pick out the costume, right?
I think it's on backwards.
Oh no! Oh, this isn't Pornhub, guys.
No.
Oh my
no.
goodness.
Like,
Oh,
I love
boy.
that. Is that like
Oh
a
my
Pooh Bear
God.
costume? Like, what is that?
It's either
I think it's
it
on
could be a monkey. It could be a monkey.
I
think it's a
love how
monkey.
the first inclination, by the way, from
It's
the
the
child
shake.
is helicopter. Yeah, just helicopter. Like,
And I think that might be a girl. I think that's a daughter, but yeah, sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a natural reaction, right?
Mm.
So we got this is. I feel like this would be you after a long day at the trampoline park with your kids, right?
boy.
Just, no, I'm tired of this nonsense. Ugh. Like,
Wait. Oh, into the foam pit.
Yep.
Nice.
Like, just into the foam pit. I
I'd
just love
actually
the way she's like,
I would actually bounce my kid off the trampoline and into the foam pit.
oh, you like, wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sure. I'll
That's
take that.
right.
Oh,
Okay.
funny.
Okay, foam pit.
What do we got next? Oh, we got this thing with the children. It's one of my new favorite subreddits. Kids are fucking stupid. What could possibly go wrong here, you think?
Oh no. Is he gonna try to jump? Oh no!
What's
There's
up,
a
kid?
7-year-old driving that truck.
Yep. That's it. It's just 7-year-old driving the truck.
That's definitely
You
not
know?
the United States, I can tell you right now.
I'll tell you right now, my father learned to drive at like that age. He had
That's cool,
7
man.
brothers and sisters.
That's
He had
really
to drive.
cool. That's pretty badass,
Yeah, like-
I have to say.
Yeah, that's a move. It's like, you gotta get, you're the oldest. You gotta get the kids to the hospital. Okay.
Kind of based.
You know.
Kind of based.
Yep. Future participant in a game show. That's all the title of this was. Oh.
Oh, it's Wipeout. You know,
Oh, and again.
you know what? They have these at like, we have like our local town day, and they have one of these things. Yeah,
and again.
and he's constantly getting, oh,
He
Oh.
got slammed
Oh,
again.
smack
Again. I didn't watch it that far.
Oh my
I watched
God.
2 of them and I was like, oh, that's perfect.
oh my god.
Like, and he
Ow.
keeps getting up and getting on.
And he's
love
okay.
He's okay. All right, we're up on the. We got good diving form here.
Oh,
at
it's
the
the
beginning
triple
of this.
Indy.
We got the triple Indy. Yep, this is the very end of the triple Indy. You're lucky I'm old enough to remember that.
Not the triple Indy, but the
Um,
triple Lindy with an L.
I would like to see the triple Indy at some point. That will be a choice maneuver.
Yeah.
And we go up, tuck, and in.
Uh-oh.
Oh, double.
Uh-oh.
Can he make 3? No.
Oh,
And flat. Pure flat. Just
Ooh. Was that a
all
plank?
the sting in the world.
Did he mean to plank? Because he did.
No. He's meant to, like, he under rotated.
Yeah. I think.
And like he meant to dive back into the water, right?
You French
like,
fried when you should have pizza.
You should have
gonna have a
pizza.
bad
You're gonna
time.
have bad time.
You're gonna have a bad
Yeah.
time.
Yep. Speaking of diving, pip, and just dad wiped out, just nothing left. You know, like kid coming over, making sure you're okay. It was his fault. He was like, "I'm gonna do it."
Wait,
Steve, hold my
Why
beer.
am I seeing?
Bip.
Why am I seeing text behind him? Behind that? Oh, I'm watching chat.
I don't know.
transparently.
How? Oh,
It's
makes
on his
sense.
shirt. Wow, look, Eric Thomas's chat's on his shirt. Check that shit
How
out.
is that?
Oh,
that's not through. That's through yours, huh?
really? No,
What is that? Where is that coming from?
that's
weird.
opera. That's your
Yeah,
opera.
but like, how is that?
He's wearing a transparent shirt, or he's green screened or something. That's crazy.
I don't think so. It's just doing that on its own.
Okay, well, that's kind of creepy and disturbing. Stop.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Make it stop. Make the bad man stop.
Yep. I think it's because of the mod thing.
Maybe.
Yeah. Is that the YouTube chat that you're seeing through there?
Yeah, well, it's restream.
Or is it
actually.
the Twitch chat?
It's the restream chat.
Okay. I don't think that was on mine.
Okay, that's weird.
I don't think so. That's on your bread weirdness.
Okay,
Like, I don't see that.
I'm not even overlaid.
I don't see that overlay.
I'm not even overlaid.
Yeah, I don't
Now
see
I
that
don't
overlay.
See it. Now
is
I
the
don't see it
crazy
anymore.
bit.
All right, all right. I enough of Dad wiping out here. What's next?
Yep.
What do we got?
We got skateboard guy. Everyone loves skateboard guy. Right? So we're gonna send with skateboard guy. And he kickflips beautifully and he goes all the way. Where do you think this could go wrong, Indy?
Oh no.
Oh, he's fine. He's fine.
Okay.
He's good.
Wow.
He's good. He made it. He made it.
That was close.
I feel like I have to have with Indy here, I have to have like those, like, he grabs the hat from underneath the door, you know? Like, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Voila.
But yeah, he's got to have the hat though. So we've got what could go wrong.
Oh,
What
boy.
could go wrong with trying to push this big brick chimney off this house?
Off the roof. Everything.
Look at this.
And
Right through the
push.
roof. Right through the roof.
Oh,
I know it.
I know it. I love the guy
Right
that
through
has
the
to
roof.
have the "I told you so" immediately. Like,
Oh.
you know.
Oh. I'm so glad everybody's laughing at him. Damn. Oh, there it goes.
Made it down.
It's
We
down.
needed plywood anyway. That's what they said.
Chimney
We
down.
needed plywood anyway. I love it. So,
Chimney down.
do you like drones, Indy? You know,
yeah, sure,
do you know
whatever.
how expensive? Do you know how expensive drones are?
You can get
especially
them for as
ones that
little as
could
like
do stuff
$500,
like this?
right? They're not that expensive, but they're not cheap.
DJI's got them for like a couple thousand.
Oh!
Just a peaceful, serene underwater scene.
Something tells me that wasn't supposed to happen.
Nope, that we went underwater.
Oh.
I figured it would just shut off the minute it hit water, so it's got to have some underwater capability, you know.
Wow.
But speaking of underwater, we have these Bert Kreischers in training.
The machine. I am the
machine.
I am the machine.
Right. They are the machine, and they're gonna machine all the way down on their canoe. This is a canoe. Might be a canoe, but whatever. I think it's a canoe. All the way down, and then finally, like everyone in the
No news
water.
as good canoes with Gary Canoe. That canoe.
Yes. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. We have Mr. Bicycle. We have this bridge and a lot of, like, what my skater friends would like to call razor blade concrete. Right?
Okay.
Like, whoop, whoop, right through it. Is that the LA River? I think that's the LA River right there.
I don't know what river that is.
I think that's the LA River. That's their, like, it's in like all those movies. What could go wrong climbing over a hill with a loaded truck? These are my it looks too expensive. Right section. We got big truck full of bricks. He's gonna make it up the hill. He's gotta make it. Super heavy, lots of bricks. And eventually... Oh. Oh, no. And bricks on the car.
No. That's no bueno.
Everyone was okay.
Wow. No people were hurt during the making of this video.
Yep. Well, it depends on what you describe as hurt, right?
Well,
like
the car was
the people
hurt.
were severely injured. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
people's pocketbooks would probably hurt. So this is a
pool's closed.
Like
I saw the title.
Yeah, yes. Yep. So this is an elevated, like one of those glass bottom pools.
Oh boy.
Right?
Oh no.
So what do you think could go wrong with a glass bottomed pool?
That would be
where,
the
like, you know,
bottom
people
falls
would be underneath this, right? Like at a party scene. And all of that water just goes
I know that glass, more importantly.
And luckily, we have the underneath footage as
It was
well.
in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Boom! Just like
Wow. Oh, and it moved the car.
like, car.
It moved the
Yep.
car. Oh my word.
Like,
Oh, that is a bad day.
that's crazy.
That's a bad day.
That's a real bad day. Yep. I just love the pool's closed. Like,
Yeah. Don't try to jump in the pool or you'll end up in the parking lot.
Yep. Well,
Wow.
that's the end of boats
Cool,
today.
man. Cool.
Right on time.
Right on 2:05. Well, it's always right on time.
Yep.
So going back to the Substack, everybody like, share, subscribe. Here's the Substack. By the way, I did put the links in the show description in the notes already and saved and updated that. So after you close the stream and we're done, you can refresh and you can actually see all the links to all the articles that we covered tonight. Everybody go to the Substack if you don't mind. independentleftnews.substack.com or leftist.today is the easy way to get there. Give this one a like if you don't mind. Appreciate that. Helps with the algorithm type of stuff. Follow us all over, and I'm bringing this up again, independentleft.media. That's our link tree for all the links that you see here. Of course, you see them here too. We are also now, this week, starting this week or last week, I set up a Rumble page.
Yeah.
So we're now also on Rumble, and all of these show episodes for the last 4 or 5 weeks are also here on Rumble. Episode 8,
Nice.
episode 7, episode 6 are all here, as well as the daily updates that I do twice a day.
You gotta put night mode on.
Is there night mode for Rumble? I didn't think that there was.
Gotta be.
Some of the sites
No one
still
makes
don't
it
have it.
non-night mode anymore.
I'm not a night mode. I'm definitely a night mode guy. So if it is
happens when
available,
I
I'll
go to
certainly
Rumble?
do that. Of course, subscribe to Independent Left News. Follow us on Twitter at IND Left News. We get the automation set up for a lot of different channels whenever they go live.
Look at that. Mine's on night mode.
Oh,
It might be my browser.
Okay.
So
it might be your browser. Okay. Oh, wow, it automatically converts it. Yeah. So again, we're on Telegram, we're on Substack, we're on every platform you can think of. We're live on Twitch, we're live on Twitter, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube. We even did a live pre-show onto our Telegram channel, which I didn't realize you could stream live to. Looking more at Instagram TV, IG.TV. That's a pretty cool platform as well. Again, thank everybody for sticking with us, for hanging out tonight. We'll be working on putting out clips during the week of all the different segments and articles. And appreciate everybody contributing, and appreciate my cohort over here, Reef, for hanging out and getting those boats crashing into other boats videos. And
yep.
You know what? Before we go, let me just throw the links up there real quick. Hey, there they are. So again, you can find us on all these platforms at IND Left News. Also, independentleft.gg is our Discord server. That's the jet stream. We're on Vimeo. We're on Instagram. We're on every step you take.
Sorry.
Thanks, Reef. All right, have a good night, everybody. We're cutting out for the night.
Everyone.
We'll see you next Saturday night, midnight, for How Did We Miss That? Night, everybody.
Same bad time. Same bad channel. Peace, love, soul.